Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. A red wave did not materialize on the national stage in Tuesday's midterm election, but Indiana remained under solid Republican control.
I am conservative. This district is pretty conservative. But for those that didn't vote for me, I hope that they'll watch what we're doing and that they'll be pleased.
The GOP won 7 of 9 U.S. House districts and maintained its supermajority in both chambers of the State House. Bloomington and Monroe County leaders met this week to discuss expanding the convention center, an idea that has been in the works for years.
Everything requires compromise, and compromise does not have to be a dirty word.
But the two sides have different approaches to managing any expansion. And IU received a grant to study the racial disparities in the distribution of the opioid overdose drug Naloxone. We'll have these stories plus the latest news from across the state right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. While an anticipated red wave did not sweep across the country in Tuesday night's midterm elections, Indiana remained in firm Republican control. The GOP kept its supermajority in both chambers. Under districts redrawn after the 2020 census, Republicans will have at least 70 of the state's 100 House seats and 40 of its 50 Senate seats. And with the governor and attorney general positions not on the ballot, the race for Secretary of State took center stage statewide. There, Republican Diego Morales made history by becoming the first Hispanic official elected in a statewide race.
Morales' campaign had been dogged by controversy, but he was defiant in victory as he cruised to a comfortable win.
The truth always prevails. Let me say that again. The truth always prevails. Always.
Democrat Destiny Wells' concession speech was a call to continue to fight against efforts to tear down our democracy.
Make no mistake, we must slay every effort to tear down our democracy. Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, all of us. We must fight together to strengthen and reinforce our electoral system.
Democrats haven't won the Secretary of State's office since 1990. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Brandon Smith at the State House.
Republican U.S. Senator Todd Young won a decisive re-election victory and will head back to Washington for another 6 years. Young says he's ready to fight the president's agenda wherever necessary, but also stressed that he'll work across party lines when he can. And he thanked people on election night. Young talked about earning Hoosiers' trust over his next term.
I'm going to work tirelessly over the next 6 years to ensure that I live up to your high expectations, to ensure that we yield the sort of accomplishments that you deserve. Not rhetoric, but results.
Young's Democratic opponent, Tom McDermott, voiced a similar note of bipartisanship in defeat.
I didn't want it to turn out the way it did today, but now that it did turn out this way, I want you all to know that it's imperative that we get behind Senator Young and support him and try to move America forward, because we got a lot of problems in this country.
Republicans have held this seat for more than a decade. Republican Aaron Houchin is the winner of Indiana's 9th congressional district seat, previously held by Republican Trey Hollingsworth, who did not seek re-election. Pat Bean has this report.
Aaron Houchin is a former state senator from Salem who represented District 47 from 2014 to 2022. She previously ran for the same seat in 2020, but lost in the primary to Trey Hollingsworth. Former President Donald Trump endorsed Houchin on November 3rd.
I just feel very honored to be the person going to represent Washington, or this district in Washington, D.C. I'm ready for it. I'd go right now if they would let me. I have to wait till January 3rd.
Houchin says she opposes abortion and is pro-Second Amendment. She also said there were irregularities in the 2020 election results.
I am conservative. This district is pretty conservative. But for those that didn't vote for me, I hope that they'll watch what we're doing and that they'll be pleased with our governance when we finally get to Washington.
She defeated Democrat Matt Fife, a high school math teacher from Bloomington.
I think next steps are making sure we continue to organize and advocate for the issues that we care about in this campaign. Education, healthcare, raising healthy families, and making sure that our workers, our people on the ground are getting wages, benefits, and retirement that makes sense for them.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Pat Bean.
Now, with Houchin's win, Republicans maintain their 7-2 advantage in congressional House seats that hope to pick up the District 1 seat in the northwest corner of the state, but incumbent Democrat Frank Mervan held off Republican challenger Jennifer Ruth Green. One state legislative race that has yet to be determined is District 62, where about 36 votes separate Republican Dave Hall and Democrat Penny Githens. Hall had been projected the winner after he led by more than 1,000 votes over Githens on election night, but after new Monroe County totals were sent to the Indiana Secretary of State's office Wednesday, that margin is down to 37. Officials had originally not counted the results from the last week of early voting.
There are provisional ballots that will have to be reviewed by the election board. And we don't know, if they'll accept any or all of them, and that is across all 3 counties.
Githens has until November 22nd to file a petition asking for a recount. Well, 4 of the 8 Indiana school districts with ballot questions to approve property tax levies failed to pass in the midterm election. One that did pass was in Monroe County, where almost 67% of voters agreed to support the school corporation. The increase is expected to generate more than $15 million, which will go to faculty and staff pay increases and other educational services. The ballot initiative failed in Brown County and Jackson County. Columbus Mayor Jim Linnop says he will not run for a 3rd term next year. He made the announcement shortly after midterm elections this week. He says it comes down to 2 things: family and desire to retire.
I've got 2 more members of my family that I didn't have when I started this job. I've got 2 grandchildren now, a little boy and a little girl, and I want to be able to spend a little bit more time with them.
Linnop is an accountant who joined the Columbus City Council in 2012. He defeated incumbent Mayor Kristen Brown in the Republican primary in 2015. He ran uncontested in that year's municipal election as well as in 2019.
I have a deep affinity for Columbus, and I felt at the time that it wasn't being very well led, and I felt like we could improve on that.
Linnop says he's been able to accomplish his goals by widespread support throughout the community. Well, while it's not a ballot issue, there's plenty of politics at play as Bloomington and Monroe County try to sort out a way to build a new convention center. We're joined now by Holden Absher, who's been following the story. Welcome back, Holden.
Thank you, Joe. And the debate over the Monroe County Convention Center continues 4 years after the food and beverage tax started collecting money for the project. And county commissioners have proposed an official path forward, but city leaders must now decide whether to jump on board. The Monroe County Convention Center is a popular place. It's so popular that it's booked through 2024.
Things are getting kind of back to normal now with groups coming back in, and in a normal year, we'll do about 500 events.
For conferences, the center can host up to 250 people, which includes multiple sizes of rooms and breakout rooms. However, Kopic says she'd like to see the center hold 500 people for conferences. If it hosted 40 of these conferences each year, it could make up to $19 million to $25 million in economic impact.
We're the second most desired location, but we are the smallest convention center in the state.
While Monroe County owns the convention center, the city of Bloomington is sitting on 90% of the money dedicated to its expansion, which is currently about $15 million. The expansion project resurfaced this summer when the city offered to purchase and lead the project, but commissioners didn't think the offer was sufficient. So last month, the city announced it would proceed with or without the county's support. However, just this week, hours before a pre-scheduled intergovernmental meeting, Monroe County commissioners unanimously passed an ordinance to establish a capital improvement board, or CIB. CIB is a mechanism Indiana county governments use to manage large projects.
The idea is you get the politicians out of the process on these big, large-scale projects, and you appoint experts as kind of the managers on the board that would manage the project going forward.
Other convention centers around the state are also managed by CIBs, such as Fort Wayne, Terre Haute, and Indianapolis.
Everything requires compromise, and compromise does not have to be a dirty word. Sometimes you have to give some things up to get the best outcome.
Mayor John Hamilton's administration says it's shocked commissioners approved a CIB Wednesday and that the process lacked transparency and collaboration. Instead, he wants a nonprofit to build and manage the expansion. He even says his administration will unveil details in the coming weeks for a fully integrated facility open by late 2025.
It's been a little frustrating all year not being able to sit down and really talk in detail, and this is another example of a kind of a meeting with an agenda set by others, and it's not an easy place for give and take.
However, Commissioner Penny Githens pushed back to the mayor.
We've offered multiple meetings, Mr. Mayor, and this is the first time you've shown up. So let's stop that.
But not everyone from the city is on the same page. City Council President Susan Sandberg fully supports the CIB and spoke against Mayor Hamilton's proposition.
I don't see it as any kind of disrespect. I quite frankly was a little taken aback by the 501c proposal that, all right, we're done meeting, we're done talking, let's just do it our way. I was very uncomfortable with that. I still am.
The county is against the mayor's proposal because it says nonprofits are not subject to the same open door requirements as a CIB.
If we're going to do this, we should do this in the public eye with a capital improvement board that meets publicly, takes public comment, and has their accounts reviewed by at least one elected body.
Hamilton says the transparency issue can be fixed by creating bylaws that bind the nonprofit through public bodies. However, his office reiterated that the county was not transparent in establishing a CIB, which has been the subject of conversations since 2019.
We've been talking about the Capital Improvement Board. We talked about it at the last meeting. We've talked about it before. This isn't new. This is not new.
Commissioners say they passed the CIB to put a concrete offer on the table and that they're asking both the City Council and Mayor's office to take affirmative action on the proposal by January 1st.
So Holden, we've been covering this for quite a while. It just seems to be back and forth between the county. It's really hard to measure any progress that's happening here. In the meantime, you have President Eric Spoonmore, who's worried about time.
Yeah, absolutely. So the chamber is worried that we're under the gun and we're in the crosshairs of the legislature here. They are under the assumption that the state legislatures are going to write a bill to sunset the food and beverage tax next year, and in the process they have two motivations for it. The first would be to hold local governments accountable for not using tax dollars that they promised they would, and the second would be to create a more uniform process across the board, and in doing that it could limit how counties use this money.
Last time I talked with Mayor Hamilton, it was just a few weeks ago, he said he'd be fine with the commissioners, but he said that they're not just fully invested. So he doesn't want to include them because they're not fully invested in this project. So now here we go. I feel like we're going back and forth again. What's next?
It can feel like a bit of a circle, and if you watch closely, you can feel dizzy at times. And there was talk this week about an enthusiasm gap between the county and the city. And yes, the commissioners, they were skeptical of this project a couple months ago, and they said they've spoken with community members, and they've decided those community members want this to move forward, and so they passed a CIB in the interest of the taxpayers, and now that means the city council and the mayor have 60 days to act on that proposal, but I'm not entirely sure that the mayor is on board with it. He is still hinting at his administration's plans to go their own way, and he even said in the coming weeks there could be an announcement of his nonprofit plan.
All right, Holden, thank you very much. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. A decision to convert the coal plant in Petersburg to natural gas is being met with mixed reactions. And IU received a federal grant to investigate racial disparities in the distribution of the overdose drug Naloxone. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
Life Life is full of choices. And right now, your favorite member benefit, Passport, is offering more choices for you to stream.
Welcome to the club.
It's a beautiful thing with cooking.
I gotta let it cook, but I keep wanting to smell it.
Travel.
And here we are.
Documentaries.
I realized I could change the world.
And so much more. The choice is yours with Passport on the PBS Video app.
Public television's mission is to create a more informed and engaged public with inspiring programs, compelling stories, and trustworthy news. And we can't do it without a team of professional journalists, media specialists, engineers, and administrators making it happen both on the air and behind the scenes. Want to work for WTIU? Find the latest job postings on our website. Details at WTIU.org/jobs.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. A lack of competition for health care and insurance providers in the state is a complex issue, not unique to Indiana. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Violet Cumber-Weiland has this report.
Nir Menachemi is the Executive Associate Dean at Indiana University's Fairbanks School of Public Health at IUPUI. He describes the issue as a cat and mouse game between health insurance companies and provider organizations.
One is always trying to figure out how to have a market advantage for what it sort of values most in terms of how healthcare should be organized and paid for.
Menachemi says this often pushes provider organizations like hospitals and physician practices to band together. He explains this helps them when negotiating with insurance companies.
Banding together just strengthens your ability to have those negotiations.
He adds these organizations also band together to create a sort of one-stop shop for care. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Violet Cumber-Weiland.
AES Indiana's plans to convert its Petersburg coal plant to natural gas are being met with mixed reactions. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Rebecca Thiel reports, while Pike County is happy the plant will stay open, environmental activists are disappointed the utility isn't making a faster transition to renewable energy.
Ashley Willis is the executive director of the Pike County Economic Development Corporation, which has been working to attract new businesses to the area in anticipation of the Petersburg plant closings. With the plant now expected to convert to natural gas, she says Pike County will lose fewer workers and less tax revenue for its schools and local governments.
All in all, everyone is feeling good about that. There's still some uncertainty as it relates to how this is going to unfold in the future. But overall, I think everyone's feeling really positive.
But activists say the utility is dragging its feet in the transition to renewable energy, which is bad for the climate and for the air quality in southern Indiana. The Sierra Club's Beyond Coal campaign and the cities of Indianapolis and Beech Grove all passed resolutions calling on AES to replace the plant with renewable energy.
Replacing fossil fuels with more fossil fuels and methane, which is a powerful climate disrupting fossil fuel, is not the answer, to our problem, to our serious problem that we're facing in terms of the climate crisis.
For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Rebecca Thiel.
AES Indiana says converting the plant to natural gas and adding 1,300 megawatts of renewables is the most reliable and affordable option for its customers. But activists say that's hard to believe given the high price of natural gas right now. The IU School of Public Health in Bloomington will study racial disparities in the distribution of Naloxone, the life-saving medication that reverses an opioid overdose. Kayan Tara reports that the African-American community in Indianapolis seems to be hit the hardest.
The $1.7 million grant from the Department of Health and Human Services will fund an investigation of the role structural racism plays in stigma and death from opioid use in the Indianapolis African American community. School of Public Health professor Dong-Cho Seo will head the study. He says the United States is in an opioid crisis due to methamphetamine-related overdoses.
The overdose crisis is a serious problem, and we are increasingly seeing evidence of racial disparities where black people are more disproportionately affected by overdose death.
Black Americans are about twice as likely to die from opioid-related overdoses compared to white Americans. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention says that 14% of people who die of opioids were treated for substance misuse, but only 8% of African Americans were treated, the lowest of all groups. One community partner on this study is the Overdose Lifeline, a nonprofit that educates about preventative measures against substance misuse. The organization noted racial disparities when distributing Naloxone in local Indiana communities.
Distributed like 35,000 doses of Naloxone, and only one person identified as Black or African American, which was a problem for me.
Crabtree is the program and office assistant at Overdose Lifeline. She says recovery is possible, but people need to be reached before they overdose.
Although we distribute Naloxone and we distribute it free, wherever you're at, you can put in a request, we'll put it in the mail. If you're nervous and you don't want your name on it, we'll send it to current resident or whatever. But for whatever reason, we're not stepping up to the plate and reaching our people that need to be reached.
Justin Phillips is acutely aware that it takes seconds for someone to overdose if life-saving methods are not implemented. She lost her son Aaron to an overdose in 2013. This prompted her to start Overdose Lifeline. Phillips says substance use disorder is such a judged and stigmatized chronic disease that people are afraid to ask for help.
All of those things just, I think, create a barrier for people to be willing to ask for help. And if I don't think I need it, I don't pay attention to the information.
John Agley is the Deputy Director of Research at IU's Prevention Insights. He said that building infrastructure to understand how opioid use affects individual communities is imperative to solving the issue.
While many communities may have specific kinds of harms associated with opioid overdose, the things that lead to those harms and the things that could protect against those harms are different. And so if we try to just take generic ideas and bring them into a single community, some of that may work and some may not.
Overdose from opioid use can be prevented by better education and awareness on the topic.
That can be very easily prevented. Even, you can at least stop people from dying by administering naloxone within 3 or 4 minutes. Okay. So that is really, awakening me, and I, became more and more interested in this area.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Kayantara.
Naloxone is available without a prescription in all states. Individuals can go to naloxbox.org for more information. IU's Kelley School of Business annual Business Outlook forecasts uncertainty in state and national economies. Kelley presented its outlook at Ivy Tech on Thursday, the first of 10 such presentations around the state. Kelly Lichter has this report.
Indiana Business Research Center Director Carol Rogers says national forecast of a possible recession would hit Indiana first. With inflation and rising interest rates, a squeeze will be put on the output of durable goods manufacturing, which is something Indiana relies on. It's a tough situation to monitor with the shortage of workers in Indiana's labor force. She says the state's slow population growth is a factor.
We're not replacing ourselves. And I don't mean to sound morbid, but we're experiencing more deaths than births. The pandemic didn't help. It accelerated something that was already happening.
But that's not the only reason.
We're not attracting enough young people to the state of Indiana.
Assistant Professor of Business Economics and Public Policy Andrew Butters says the labor market has yet to recover to pre-pandemic levels.
Basically, there's 2 job postings for any one individual looking for a job. The labor market is incredibly tight right now. And what is partly contributing to that is that basically we've seen a massive reduction or a very depressed labor force participation rates.
He says with inflation at a 40-year high, unemployment low, and the GDP growing after 2 months of shrinkage, trying to predict the economy is tricky.
The rosy view would hopefully be that we can find that cruising altitude, basically have a situation where the labor market maybe becomes a little bit looser, energy and food prices have inflation rates that come down just a bit, and we are able to have that sort of soft landing, if you will.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Callie Lichter.
The Kelly School has presented an annual business outlook forecast since 1972. Well, things don't get any easier this weekend for an Indiana football team that has lost its last 6 games. The Hoosiers will travel to Ohio State to face the second-ranked team in the nation Saturday. The Buckeyes are favored by more than 5 touchdowns.
I get it. They're highly favored, and I understand that and why that they are. And so, but at the same time, you don't, you never, surrender to anything without question.
Indiana will have starting quarterback Connor Bazelak back after he missed last week's game due to injury. But backup Jack Tuttle, who started last week, will miss the rest of the season with a shoulder injury.
Definitely healthier and back to more like we expect him to be, and in terms of just the velocity of the ball and everything else with his ability to be healthy. So to me, it's decision making. I mean, you talk about expectations, protect the football.
Indiana has 2 games remaining after this one at Michigan State and at home against Purdue. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.